Ms. Garrett is in the courtroom today to prove that her ex-lover, the defendant, Mr. Boyer, is the father of her baby girl. What's funny about this case is that she waits 2 years before bringing him to court. Mr. Boyer, on the other hand, claims that she had been messing around with other men, and he is not the father. Well, here is how the shocking case begins.
Ms. Garrett, you are here on a mission today to prove that the defendant, Mr. Boyer, is the biological father of your 2-year-old daughter, Naomi. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Your Honor.
You say that after a month of non-stop, unprotected sex with the defendant, you are 100% sure that he fathered your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
2 months ago? That is wild and ridiculous. Let's not even lie. If she is certain or has known all along he was the father of her baby, why is Mr. Boyer finding out just 2 months ago that he could be the father of her child? That story is not adding up.
Well, today, Your Honor, I'm here to prove to Mr. Boyer that he is the father of my 2-year-old daughter. It takes 2 to tango. Give me 1 second.
Take your time. I know it's hard.
It takes 2 to tango. We both grown. We both did what we did. And the result to the fact that we did, we created a beautiful baby girl.
When they start with the tears, there's a high chance they are lying, but let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She is right though. It does take 2 to tango before a child can come to life, but waiting 2 years is just outrageous.
How did you two meet? What was this relationship? Were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
No, Your
I'll
Honor.
let her answer that.
No,
She said
we
no.
were not. We were not. We were friends. We had inconsistent sex, which was amazing. I'm not gonna sit here and fault to nobody. It was great. I'm gonna keep it real. It was real good, Your Honor. And we had 31
TMI.
days of sex, unprotected, and
Did I hear you say you had 31 days straight of
Yes.
unprotected sex?
31 days? Okay, Ms. Garrett, we get the message. The sex was great, and we now know that you and Mr. Boyer had an amazing time. Move on already. What we want to know now is how and why it took her 2 years before she told him he was the father of the child.
No, I was never under the impression that it was only me. It was too easy for it to be only me. I never wanted to put her under the wing like fried rice, though. She was just a part of the plate, like temporarily, not to take home and, put in the microwave.
Under the wing like fried rice?
Right. I never wanted to put her under the wing like fried rice. No.
Wait, what does that mean?
That mean I never wanted to take her home. Like, it was just supposed to be at the restaurant, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't gonna be more.
Oh!
Ouch! Now that has got to hurt Ms. Garrett's feelings. Mr. Boyer shatters her heart by telling the judge that she was never meant to be taken to the microwave, meaning their sexual experience was not something that should have lasted that long. I wonder why it did though. 31 days of consistent days is a long time.
consistent, then
Oh.
automatically thought it was the other gentleman's baby. So I did not.
So you started
Dating.
dating somebody new and you thought it was his child.
Right, Your Honor.
So you told him, I'm pregnant.
Yes.
Was he happy about it?
Yes, he was.
All right, so you told him you were pregnant and you never thought to notify Mr. Boyer?
No.
I think we can all agree that Ms. Garrett is in the wrong. Mr. Boyer claims that he reached out to her and asked who the father of the child was when he saw her Facebook post. Instead of telling the truth, she blocked him and never told him he was the father. Was it because of the new guy?
She inboxed me on Facebook, same place she blocked me at, and told me like, oh, well, the other boy, the test came back that he's not the dad, so you gotta be the dad. So I was like, to where as though that would be like a hindrance, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm a responsible human being.
I'm still back on Talladega Nights.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's the whole scene that came in your head?
Yeah.
Mr. Boyer is one hilarious individual, that's for sure. Now he says that Ms. Garrett unblocked him on Facebook after a while and told him that he was now the father of the child. Ha ha ha. Something tells me that the other guy broke up with her and she now wants to pin the baby on Mr. Boyer.
She asked me to try to be around, try to get to know Naomi a little bit. I went over there to see her. I got zero spiritual energy from this child. I had zero vibe with this child. I looked at her. She don't look like me. She don't look like my sister. She don't look like no female in my family. She don't look like nobody in my family. So I don't know, maybe the eyes, but that's about it. I mean,
She's
I don't see any
beautiful
resemblance
little
there.
girl.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Well, she isn't wrong about that, though. A baby doesn't have to look like you before you know or agree that it's your child. But still, so many facts don't add up to the story Ms. Garrett is telling the judge in the courtroom. I can't be the only one seeing that.
So this is a copy of the paternity results, and there's a 0% probability of paternity regarding the other potential father.
Yes, Your Honor.
That certainly changes the dynamic of things. Ms. Garrett presents evidence that shows that the other guy she got into a relationship with after messing with Mr. Boyer is not the baby's father. Could she be telling the truth after all?
And once she told you that, what did you feel?
I felt outraged, honestly. I was mad because if Naomi is my child, then I missed 2 years of her life. I missed teaching her how to walk. I missed, you know what I'm saying? I missed a lot. And I'm not the type of person to miss anything when it comes to my kids. So that hurt, you know what I mean? But I don't know, we just gotta find out.
Spoken like a real man. It's honestly painful that she kept this away from him for 2 years, and now thinks it's okay to tell him he is the father of the child. Well, let's get to the bottom of this whole drama. Here are the results from the DNA test.
Mr. Boyer, you are not the father. He's not the father, Miss Garrett.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Now, this is quite different from the previous case. Mr. Walker claims that the defendant, Ms. DeVost, told him that he was the father of her child. For some season, she is now changing the story by saying he is not the father, and he wants to prove otherwise in the courtroom today. He opened his case like this.
Mr. Walker, you claim the defendant led you to believe you fathered her son, Kamani, for an entire year, but just 6 months ago told you you are not the father and refuses to let you see him. You are here to prove that Kamani is your biological son, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
In the list of heartless women, I'm pretty sure Ms. DeVos tops that list because, what? She says that she regrets allowing Mr. Walker to sign the birth certificate after allowing him to build a bond with the child for more than a year? That is insane.
We met when we was in foster care. We was like this group home setting for, like, we met there, we became friends, and we wasn't in a relationship, but it was a situation like we was together.
So it wasn't a committed relationship, but you spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
And you were intimate.
Yes,
Did
Your
you
Honor.
use protection?
No, Your Honor.
I can't be the only one who is outraged by this. Mr. Walker tells the judge that when he found out she was pregnant, he asked her point blank if he was the father, and she told him to his face that he was. Why then is she changing her story?
Who you're with when the doctor tells you you're pregnant. It matters who you're with when the child is conceived.
Right.
Who were you with then?
I was with him and someone else.
Okay, so that's why we're here. So you admit you were also intimate with another person during the window of conception.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's the person you believe is Kamani's biological father.
I wonder why she took this long to come clean. I mean, if she was sleeping with another man and was not certain about the child's father, why not just come clean from the very start? Nah, she is guilty on all charges.
So this was your first child.
Yes, Your Honor.
And after going through a difficult time where you said you grew up in the system, in the foster care system, you were excited about being a father to a child, the kind of father you did not have.
Yes, Your Honor.
You definitely do not need me to tell you that Mr. Walker is a good man. He was literally there for everything, from the day the child was conceived till when Ms. DeVost stopped him from seeing the child. This is honestly so sad.
I didn't want to go through it alone, and when he stepped up to being here, got 2 jobs. He was a big baby, and I couldn't hardly walk. I couldn't really do nothing. So when he stepped up, I just felt like, okay, he's doing the right thing, and maybe he might be the father. I don't know.
I'm sorry, Ms. DeVost, but you just do not do that. She said it herself. She knew Mr. Walker was a big baby, and also claims that she kept the truth away from him because she didn't want to break his heart, but that still doesn't excuse any of this. She's literally breaking his heart in the courtroom.
And so why is it you chose Mr. Walker instead of him? If he said, I'd take care of the child too, why did you make the choice of Mr. Walker?
My ex was in another city. He was in the same city as me, so he's here, he will help. He's the father.
And there she goes again with using Mr. Walker to her advantage. She tells the judge that she also told the other man that he could be the father of the child. However, she chose Mr. Walker because he was closer and had already stepped up and taken care of the baby. That's just heartbreaking.
May, June, around one of those times, I believe we were arguing, and I also have some text messages to showing
You have
that-
more evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
Jerome, can you
Your
please
Honor.
hand me the evidence? As you would argue, whatever argument you'd be in as a couple, it would always come down to, well, you don't have any right to see Kamani, or you don't have any right in this situation because you're not his father.
Nah, she did not just say that to Mr. Walker. He ruined his one life. He was literally there for everything. He stood up like a father would, and she tells him over the phone that he ruined his one life. Lady, you kept the damn secret. Jeez, how heartless can she be?
He had had the option if he wanted to be there or not. I didn't beg or ask him to be there. He had the option.
Ms. DeVos, now I'll let you stand here thus far and state your testimony. Now, you sitting up here acting like Satan's sidekick in here talking about you ruined your own life. I didn't have nothing about it. Nobody told you to stay. What's going on?
Oh, it's scolding time. She deserves it, honestly. Judge Lauren is pissed, and she is not hiding her feelings at all. Ms. DeVost was the one who told him that he was the father. Coming up the stand as saying he had a choice is ridiculous on all levels.
It's just it's just given, like that's his father.
Despite that, you still allowed Mr. Walker to believe for the first 8 months of Kamani's life he was the child's biological father.
Yes.
He still understands that there's a possibility he could be the child's biological father, so now he's not letting go. Is that true, Mr. Walker? My assessment of your position?
Yes, Your Honor.
For every man out there, I hope you never meet a woman like Ms. DeVost. This woman is heartless. She never even had a test done with the other guy. You know what? Let's see what the results have to say about this.
Mr. Walker, you are not the father.
I'm sorry. I'm sincerely sorry.
I'm sorry, Mr. Walker.
Thank you, Your Honor.
In this situation, Ms. Benskin claims that the defendant, Mr. Haskett, is the father of her child, and the only reason he doesn't want to own up to being the father is because he is back with his girlfriend, and he doesn't want to ruin his relationship. Could she be telling the truth? Well, let's find out. This is how their case begins.
Ms. Benskin,
Yes, sir.
you have opened your case today because you say the defendant refuses to accept that your 4-year-old daughter, Kinsley, is biologically his. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Haskett, you are here with your girlfriend and claim the plaintiff is a money-hungry liar. You don't believe you fathered her daughter and plan to prove that in court today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
He's been to jail already for not paying child support? Hold on a minute. How did that happen? What's been going on with them all this while? And from the look on Mr. Haskett's face, it almost seems like he doesn't care about the situation.
So how is it he is already under an order to pay child support and yet he's standing here denying he is the biological father? Take me back and fill me in on those facts.
Because we had a court date set, and first it had got changed.
It didn't get changed. He didn't show up.
I'm pretty sure you'd agree with me now when I say that Mr. Haskett really doesn't care about the situation. Ms. Benskin says that she went to every length to make sure that Mr. Haskett does not miss his court appointment, and yet he still missed it.
You don't remember going to jail, Mr. Haskett?
He bonded out right after. It wasn't like he was set in jail. He had bonded out right after.
I don't care if my pinky toe step foot in jail, I ain't gonna forget it.
I mean, who on earth forgets that they went to jail? It's certainly an experience you can almost never forget. I don't know, man. It feels like this battle is between Ms. Benskin and Mr. Haskett's girlfriend. She seems to be the one giving all the replies in this case.
And to this date, Kinsley is 4 years old. You have never had a DNA test.
No.
And he's had two times to do it, and he's not done it. He could have come to the hospital. I told him the day I was getting induced, the day she would be here, and everything. And I even told him Margaret was more than welcome to come. They never showed up. I had to have an emergency C-section because she couldn't
Do you
breathe.
remember her reaching out to you to come to the hospital, Mr. Haskett?
No, Your Honor.
At this point, one would honestly think Mr. Haskett has partial amnesia because he doesn't seem to remember anything at all. Ms. Benskin says that he had so many opportunities to know if he was the father, and he just never cared.
We dated. One of my exes is friends with him, and we've known each other for a long time. He had wrote me on social media, asked me to come hang out. We hung out a couple times. We went to a party.
So you went to a party. What was the nature of the relationship in your estimation, Mr. Haskett?
Friendship.
Just a friend.
Yes.
Talk about her standing on business. True. The fact that he has a daughter with his girlfriend does not mean he has to deny her. At least Ms. Benskin and Mr. Haskett both agree that their relationship did not start off on a romantic basis.
So you had sex without protection. How long did this relationship go on?
Months.
So months.
It wasn't months.
It wasn't months?
No.
How long was it in your estimation?
Probably maybe a month to 2 months at the max.
So now, why did you all end this sexual relationship?
Because he got back with Margaret.
Okay.
And that's how you know a man who does not want to take care of a child. Because why is he blocking her on Facebook after she tells him he is the father? Now it makes sense as to why Ms. Benskin says he is denying the baby because of his girlfriend. I'm sure she has her hands tied around all of this.
How do you know that?
She had came over to my house, but she had told me she had to pick up her friend from work. And after we had picked him up, he got in the car, he kissed her on the cheek and said that he loved her. I just kind of stepped back from the situation and looked at it like, what?
You're in the car and this guy kisses Miss Benskin and says, "I love you"?
Yes.
That definitely changes the dynamic of things. Mr. Haskett says that he remembers a time when he picked up one of Ms. Benskin's friends, and after dropping him off, the guy kissed Ms. Benskin and told her that he loved her. To make things worse, Mr. Haskett has that the guy told him he had sex with Ms. Benskin. Could that be true?
I have proof where she says that
If they would have tested,
I'd like to see that.
If I would have tested somebody else, then child support would have been dropped because I didn't order child support. Court did.
All right, Ms. Scott, you've presented evidence to the court. What is this evidence? It's a text exchange? Wait a minute, Ms. Benskin, you just testified. So what is this text about?
Ha ha. Looks like the tables just turned. Mr. Haskett's girlfriend dropped some evidence showing that Ms. Benskin had some other man tested, and it came out that he wasn't the father. The funny thing is, she just admitted that she did not sleep with any other person. Something is not adding up.
He still does not know if the child is his biological child. And on top of that, you now feel like it's appropriate because people have gotten on your nerves to play games with words and telling people that somebody else got tested and is not his, so it only leaves you spinning lies that only furthers the doubt.
Judge Lauren could not have said it any better. It looks like a lot of lies are being told in the courtroom. Well, the DNA tests are here to the rescue. Let's see if Ms. Benskin has been the lair all along.
Mr. Haskett, are the father.
If you are looking for the most complicated case on paternity, I'm pretty sure this case nails it. Now, Ms. Laws says that the defendant, Mr. Bailey, who is also her ex-boyfriend, is the father of her 19-month-old son, but is only denying the baby because of his mother's doubts. But there is more to the story. Buckle up, because here is how the case begins.
Ms. Laws, you have dragged your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Bailey, into court to prove to him that he is the father of your 19-month-old son, Josiah. You also claim that there is a chance that Mr. Bailey is the father of your 4-year-old son, Jamari, who has another man's name on his birth certificate.
Now, do you understand why I said this case is probably the most complicated? There is just so much tied to the situation. Mr. Bailey believes that both of her sons belong to her boyfriend, who passed away.
Me and Mr. Bailey actually met in middle school, and we kind of been like on and off. My mother stays in Arizona, so I left middle school and went to Arizona, and that's when me and Mr. Bailey broke up. And before coming back, I actually met Mr. Davis, and we was in a relationship for about 2 years. So when I came back, Mr. Bailey used to come up to my high school. You know, he never gave up on trying to...
Oh, wow. Now I was definitely not expecting that truth bomb. Ms. Laws says that she cheated on her now-dead boyfriend with Mr. Bailey, and 2 months after that, she found out she was pregnant. Let's not forget the fact that they were middle school sweethearts.
Did you say immediately, "I'm confused as to which man is the father," or did you tell one man he was the father?
Actually, I told the both of them when I found out.
You did?
Yes, I did.
So you told both men? Mm-hmm. Who was at the birth with you?
Mr. Davis.
Mr. Davis was at the birth
Yes,
of
Your
your
Honor.
first child. Mm-hmm. Who is on the birth certificate for the first child?
Mr. Davis.
Ain't no joke about that. There are so many people out there who came to Earth because of a one-night stand. It really only takes one time to get pregnant, so that doesn't count, Mr. Bailey. You'll have to do better than that.
Do you remember hearing that she was pregnant with Jamari, an older child?
No, I knew she was pregnant with Jamari. She was big, like her stomach was already big and everything, and I was already like just seeing her and stuff, so that was already his baby. I just don't understand.
Oh, so you knew when she was pregnant. You saw her when she was pregnant with Jabari. You didn't think this was your child?
No.
Cap, if you are in love with someone, you don't run off cheating on that man with another. Oh well. Mr. Bailey says that he knew when Ms. Laws got pregnant, and when he asked her, she told him her boyfriend was the father of the baby.
Hold on, Ms. Laws, you told me yourself when I asked you, is that Mr. Bailey's son? You said, no, it's not.
I don't know. That's why I'm here. I don't know. I'm confused because I slept with the both of them, obviously.
Right, but when I asked you, you told me no.
I do not remember that. He knows.
How convenient is that? Of course she's going to go with that card now that she's on the hot seat. It really doesn't matter if she remembers or not. What matters is that she slept with both of them, and she doesn't know who the actual father is.
Do you believe that your brother is Jamari's biological father?
Yes.
You do believe that?
Yes.
Can you tell the court why?
Well, first when my brother he was so happy, and then he told my mom that he had the baby on the way,
and my family always thought Jamari was ours, regardless.
Getting the truth is going to be difficult as hell. Mr. Davis's sister walks into the courtroom and says that she believes the child belongs to her dead brother because there was nothing else to believe other than the fact that the child belonged to Mr. Davis. Honestly, I blame Ms. Laws for all of this.
You just testified that the reason why they believe that Josiah, the younger baby, was also their nephew, their grandson, is because Mr. Davis told them that.
That's my first time ever hearing that Mr. Davis thought that. You know, this hurt my feelings. That's supposed to be my baby, or you only supposed to have one baby by me. He never could accept the fact that I moved on.
Man, I don't even know what or who to believe at this point. Ms. Laws says one thing, Mr. Davis's sister says a totally different story, and Mr. Bailey still believes that he is not the father of the child. Phew. I mean, are there more truth bombs in the way?
She real sneaky. Every time I leave, ain't no telling what's up. Like, you confused about the first one, what's up with the second one? It make me wonder, like.
Because she's honest about the paternity question regarding Jamari, you feel like there potentially could be a paternity question relating to Josiah.
No, because like I was saying, she would still like see him. Like she said, he would still come to her house. She would go see him. Anything's possible.
I definitely saw that happening. There is no way all these stories are flying around the courtroom as they aren't going to get into a heated argument. Well, Ms. Laws says he is denying the baby because his mom says that the baby doesn't look like his daughter.
Ms. Laws, just to be clear, you told him that Josiah is his biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
The question was about Jamari.
Yes, Your Honor.
But Mr. Bailey, you believe, well, if it's a question about Jamari, then in my mind, there's a question about Josiah.
Yeah.
Once again, I blame Ms. Laws for all of this. She's brought two families into a squabble that almost seems like they can't get out of. If only Mr. Davis was here, I'm pretty sure he would have had a lot to say about everything that's going on.
Listen, you do need to hear it because you've already testified that you had a question and a secret that you held on to by yourself for all of these years, so much so that the man you say you love so much, his sister's sitting here and she had no idea Mr. Bailey could potentially be her nephew's biological. But we heard that.
Hearing all of that, I think it's okay for Mr. Bailey to have doubts. He always believed he was the father of the first child, but seeing that all this is happening, he is starting to have serious doubts. Well, let's hope the DNA tests can clear up all of that. Here are the results.
Pertaining to whether Mr. Bailey or Mr. Davis is the father of 19-month-old Josiah Laws, the biological father is Mr. Bailey. So, after all of the doubt, we now know Josiah is your son.
Okay.
Ms. Petty has been sleeping with two men simultaneously, using one to get back at her ex, and at the same time keeping him in her life because of the baby she already has for him. What a woman. Could there be more to the story? I guess we're going to find out. This is about to be one hell of a case.
It's because she was sleeping around with me and Peter at the same time. The only reason I started messing around with her was to get my son.
You have an older child together, so you were messing around with her to get him.
The way you gotta get it, the way you could get your kid is if you, all she want is to be, so you gotta sleep with her. You know, all you gotta do is sleep around with her.
Whoops! After having the older child together, they had the option of staying together and raising the boy. They obviously did not take that option. Ms. Petty moved on with another man too. So why in hell and in the heavens did they keep messing around with one another? It honestly makes zero sense. I mean, were they not thinking there could be consequences?
Yeah, I don't want him to come over there
because it's unsafe. And when you refer to Peter, that's Mr. Daniel.
Yes, Mr. Daniel, my bad.
Your contention is that he never really got over you and still kept coming around. But you have to tell this court.
Oh, Ms. Petty, surely the entire concept of commitment must be too much for your pretty head. If you choose a man, the whole point of it all is to stay with that one man. Nothing like staying with the man and still going back to your ex-boyfriend. But here we are.
He asked me to give my daughter his last name because he knew all the lies that Mom was telling me.
Because everybody
know everything he was telling
together
me
for 2 years.
About how he didn't want to take her.
And they were sleeping with each other unprotected.
Well. Look at both of them go. It's so difficult for Judge Lake to get a word in as it is. If Ms. Petty claims that her current boyfriend put his name on the certificate because he knows the lies Stefan told her, how come she's still sitting at his feet, eating up all those lies? Those lies gotta taste hella good, if you know what I mean.
He didn't even give her the chance, to get to know him. He avoided child support in St. Louis. I told him, you know what, I don't want to keep running around and all this action is, can you just please take the DNA test?
Whoa, Ms. Petty really thinks that he already knows in his gut and is trying to run away from his responsibilities. What if he doesn't though? What if he's just a man that keeps projecting off of the fact that he really does not know if it's his baby or not?
So during the window of conception, about how often were you sleeping with each man?
I would have sex with them on the same day.
I was afraid I was going to hear that.
I'm coming to get my son, but you know what? I got a little time to spare.
And every time, didn't I get my son? Didn't I get my son?
So we can have sex.
The bottom line is you're not going to be avoiding this DNA test any further.
Oh my goodness, she's been doing what? Does her current boyfriend even know about this? Oh, it would simply break him. Why exactly is Mr. Ballet acting like he never did anything wrong too? Talking about how Ms. Petty keeps ruining his relationship. Why did he have to keep sleeping around with his ex as well? Come on, it definitely was consensual sex.
The bottom line is, up until this point, until the baby was born, did you know that she had been having a sexual relationship with Mr. Ball as well?
She told me before because of the situation when we got together.
Okay.
Of course, she told him about the one time. Now who knows if it's just one time or there are more times. It won't honestly be shocking if there were more times. After every single moment Mr. Daniels has had with the baby, imagine ripping his heart out of his chest and tearing it to pieces, telling him that he's not the father.
You and Mr. Ball had a sexual relationship.
Last week.
It was not last week. Your Honor, the last time we had a sexual relationship is when she said they broke up.
Stomping your foot, is that anger, frustration? What do you feel?
She didn't say anything like that.
What is wrong with these two? Honestly, they are meant for one another, and they need to take their baggage out of Mr. Daniels' life. They were together last week, as per some days ago. Isn't that the most messed up thing? It seems like it would really never end.
I see his car outside, so I walk around to the window. I look in there, I see her hand, he's laying down. Her hands is in his boxers.
What? Okay, I can see the truth is from the look on your face that you all had another sexual encounter that day.
I wasn't even trying to that day.
Whoa, her hand was where? Surely she wasn't looking for some truth down his boxers. This woman has a loyal and responsible man that loves her and keeps taking all of this. What more does she want? Putting her hands down other men's boxers? Searching for God knows what?
If she's not mine, I'm happy for Mr. Daniel. But if she is mine, I just want to say I want custody of both of my children. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a better parent than both of them. Because
he a better parent than both of us. Well, my son was in the hospital.
Well, now both dads want full custody. Isn't that something? Let's find out if the baby belongs to Mr. Daniels or Mr. Hands Down His Boxers. Maybe there's another man whose boxers she was searching for some other truth in. We'll find out today in court. Here are the results.
Mr. Ball, you are her father. That's a first, Jerome. Absolute silence.
He do not deserve to be the father, honestly.
Oh my God.